Alright, welcome to the Degenerate Nation podcast. I'm here with comedian Greg Stevens. What's up, Greg?
Hey, what's happening, man?
What's up? It's been a while.
Yes, it's been quite a while.
What have you been up to, man?
Oh man, a lot of stuff. Just recently launched my entertainment company, Pearl Drop Entertainment.
It's not porn?
It's not porn. A lot of people get that confused. I think that's another company.
Yeah.
But maybe later down the line,
You gotta branch out.
Yeah, in my golden years, we might branch out.
Asian markets are very important.
Okay, as long as it's not the top market, that's
No.
The porn there gets a little strange,
Yeah.
so I stay away from that.
They only make comic book movies so they can get Chinese
it's like
to buy.
the octopus. What is it?
Hentai? Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, neither one of us have gotten to that point where we're gonna go with hentai yet.
Nah, I think that's when your career crashes.
Yeah. And then it has an amazing resurgence. And you're like, I'm gonna own it. I'm a hentai guy now.
Yeah, don't want to be that guy.
So this is a legit entertainment company you're gonna launch.
Yes, this is very legit. Stand-up comedy, music, film. We're going to tackle it all. And the first project under Pearl Drop Entertainment is my DVD, 50 Shades of Black Mayonnaise, which some may confuse as a porn movie.
Yeah.
But no, it's a stand-up comedy movie, film, written and produced by myself. Directed by Taylor Creative, a good friend of mine, Tommy Taylor Jr.
Awesome.
Had the pleasure of having some of my closest comedic friends to also partake in it. So I've been focusing on growing the business and getting the name out. That's where most of my time has been. As of late, yeah.
So your friends fluffed for you, and then you came on as Black Mayonnaise. Tell me about Black Mayonnaise.
Yeah. Okay. So Black Mayonnaise is actually the name of a geriatric stripper, which is part of it's a signature joke of mine that I've done for years.
Yeah.
And it kind of stuck with a lot of people. So when people didn't know my name, but they heard that joke, people would just call me, "Hey, Black Mayonnaise," like my name is Greg.
Hey, we're at the DMV. What are you doing?
Hey, that's Black Mayonnaise, But so it just kind of stuck, and it's one of those things where you can't say it without smiling.
Yeah.
So it's a bit juvenile, but
you're in the right place to promote.
Right.
Juvenile anything.
Yeah. So it's stuck for a while, and I have fun with it. One of the good things about it is that when people who have never heard of it hear it and they ask me, "Well, what's Black Mayonnaise?" I got so many different definitions.
Yeah.
Like I've told people, it's the name of my heavy metal band. It's the name of a cologne I recently released. All of it's false, but
I'd wear that cologne.
Wow, that smells good, sir. What is that? Well, that's Black Mayonnaise.
That's Black Mayonnaise. You smell that musk?
that sweet musk. That man musk.
Oh yeah, I want that all over me. Just gonna buy a van and drive around with an air freshener of Black Mayonnaise.
Right. And just have a slogan on the side of the van say, "Have you had your Black Mayonnaise today?"
Yeah.
Yeah. You get a lot of response.
How's my driving also? And a baby on board. It's really confusing.
Yeah, be like, wait a minute, there's too much stuff going on in this van.
There's definitely curtains on the van.
Where did that hand come from? Yeah, but it's been a beautiful experience so far. It's a tedious process.
Yeah.
But I love it, man. I've been doing comedy off and on. Roughly 15 years now. So now I'm to the point where I really have to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my thing is, for every comic, they tell you either have to leave the city that you're from, unless you're from LA or New York.
Yeah.
You kind of have to leave to get to that next level.
Those lucky motherfuckers. If they have a base there, like a family,
right,
something to ground them there, they seem to do better.
Right.
Going to those places.
Yeah. If you have somebody there, that's always better. But the average comic don't.
Yeah.
So unless they know another comic that lives understand that. You used to live in your city. So that's usually how that works. But I'm pretty grounded right now where I'm at here in the city.
That's good.
So my plan is, well, if I don't leave, I am going to build my foundation where I stand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that was really the inspiration behind doing it. On top of, you have to deal with a lot of BS, in the business.
Yeah.
And you get tired of having to ask people about getting on shows, and, you got clicks and people, just act funny.
Like my page too, and like other comedic clicks.
It's comedic clicks, it's promoters.
Yeah.
It's the whole shebang. So, I was like, well, look, I've been doing this long enough. I know what I'm capable of. How about I just do my own thing? Instead of doing your show, I'll just do my own show. I did a show one time, and the guy who was promoting the show was like, hey, man, awesome show. We should get together and do something. I was like, cool, that sounds great, man. Let's do it. Yeah, he was like, yeah, man, if you can bring 30 to 40 people to the show, we can do something. And I'm kind of looking at him like, well,
the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, well, if I can bring 30 to 40 people, what the hell I need you for?
Yeah.
So it's that type of stuff where, if it's year one, year two for you as a comic, you're gullible to fall for those type of stuff. But you're talking to a seasoned vet.
It's like getting catfished, basically.
It's worse than getting catfished. It's like you getting a broomstick up. It's more raw. The catfish is like a kiss on the cheek compared to some of the stuff that goes on in this business. But it is what it is, man. You just have to know your worth, what you're capable of, what you're going to go for, and what you're not going to go for. And once you set your standards and your boundaries, you go from there. You don't take any shorts from anybody.
That has to take a while to get to, because it's not, comedy isn't necessarily based off people's, it doesn't come from a place of high self-esteem,
Oh, no.
No, really?
Oh, no.
There's a self-loathing just buried there.
Yeah. It was weird. I was having a conversation with some other comics the other day, and I was telling a younger comic, I was like, you cannot be a great comic until you've been through some shit.
Yeah.
It's like because you have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Most comics are self-loathing, closely suicidal and depressed people.
Yep.
But that's only because their life experiences has brought them to that point. And sometimes them being on that stage talking about it is the only outlet that they have.
Yeah. It probably need therapy too, but it helps.
Dude, plenty of times I've been on the stage just venting, and the crowd may be looking at me like,
hey, what the fuck? I came here to laugh.
Right, we don't know whether to laugh or call a hotline for you. Like I've seen some people have breakdowns on stage, man.
Yeah.
But that's the price that we pay for bearing our souls to complete strangers. And
absolutely.
we do it willingly.
And is part of it because it's harder to bare your soul to someone that you know or that you want to know deeply, and like you want to make strangers laugh because they're disposable.
Well, it's a little bit of both. Every comic search for that approval.
Oh yeah.
We want that approval from their audience that, hey, you're doing a good thing. You're on the right track. Because most of the time we're just ranting on our views on life. What we see out of our window every day, the things that we experience. And if you're a person who's never experienced anything and you've been sheltered all your life and never lived life, then you're probably a sucky comic. Because it's our flaws and our defects that makes us, interesting.
Yeah, but not everyone's like a Seinfeld is more observational.
No,
doesn't get personal.
You got some great writers.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, you got a lot of great writers who can, put, magic to a pad and pen, But the guys that I think people relate to.
Yeah.
Seinfeld is real cool. I can't relate to none one of the things that he talks about.
No, me neither.
You know, I mean, a lot of it is observational, a lot of it is sarcasm, but overall, I can't relate to none of that.
Louis C.K., however.
I can totally
yeah.
Louis, I can totally relate to a lot of the stuff. But just his frame of mind with a lot of the stuff he talks about is observational too, but it comes from a real perspective.
Yeah, and you believe that he's not just playing a character so much. It's like, that's him up there.
Yeah, when he had one joke where he said, like, where he wanted to call one of his daughters an asshole.
Yeah.
Now, if you have kids, there's a moment where you feel like you want to say that to your child. You know, you probably shouldn't, but that's an honest feeling. I can relate to that. You know.
You have a kid?
Well, I have 2 stepkids.
Awesome.
So, but and I've had.
And you want to be like,
I've had those moments where like, you asshole.
You're being a piece of shit.
Yeah, but that's an honest, feeling, and having a person up there saying the things that you either feel or think, it's like a release. Like, oh, I thought it was just me.
Yeah. My kid's a piece of shit too.
Right. So for a person who's not a comic and they come to the show and they hear stuff like that, it might not be the most politically correct thing, but it's the most honest thing you will probably hear that night.
Yeah.
And that probably is a feeling that we get to say a lot of things that a lot of people are thinking. And we get to open people's minds up to things that they don't really see. I've had people come up to me after the show, was like, hey, that was freaking hilarious, what you said. I've never thought of pineapple juice that way.
Yeah. Was it about cum tasting like pineapple juice? That whole thing?
Well, I've heard. I can't stamp that myself. Maybe some females can stamp that, but
I mean, I prefer if they have pineapple juice first.
So I don't know, but those are the type of things that people gravitate towards, and they relate to, and it helps build a connection with you and the audience. When I think some of the best comedy is the stuff that you can sit there and listen to and be like, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. The instant relatability.
Yeah, and that's how people get fans. That's how people develop followings because, especially with pop culture and stuff that's going on in the world now, there's certain people that you're like, I can't wait to hear what Jon Stewart has to say, about this issue here. Or I can't wait to hear what Chris Rock is going to say. When people understand your voice, they look for it. They look for it. They can't wait to hear your take on things. Some people do that, and I think that's part of the reason why the Daily Show is so big because people like the perspective.
Yeah, they need to turn into that voice.
Like Jon Stewart has a good perspective on. Now, granted, he's surrounded by a bunch of great writers.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he writes for it too, and then delivery is
right. He's the person
so
in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So people hang on that. It's people that watch the Daily Show more than they do the actual news.
Well, the news it's all crap. I mean, do you want filtered news and not laughing, or filtered news where you get to laugh?
Certainly, the news is probably the most depressing show.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I ever watch this shit. I'm a natural depressive, and it's just like, oh, there was a murder, and then you're like, oh, I feel bad, but then at the same time you're like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So the juxtaposition of that, and you watch it day after day. Someone gets murdered in this neighborhood I haven't been to.
It starts to desensitize us.
Yeah.
I think. I can't help but to watch it. I watch it in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, and periodically I'll watch it. Now when I watch the news, I watch it to be aware of what's going on, and also I look for material.
Yeah, I peruse Drudge Report off post. Like, I'm gonna write something about this, or now that I have this podcast, like I'm gonna talk about this.
It's almost impossible for you to not. I mean, as a comic, even if you're not a comic, it's almost impossible for you to watch the news and not find at least 3 things that's just absolutely absurd and hilarious.
And there are always stories from Florida, California, or Ohio.
Those are the hot spots.
Yeah.
Those are the hot spots.
Everything happens there. Sometimes Texas as well.
Oh, yeah.
But it's mostly California, Ohio, and Florida. Jersey. Also, those 5 states are responsible for 90% of the news.
Oh, yeah. You can't go wrong with any of those states. You know, they give you what we call gems.
Yeah. Because there's people out of their minds everywhere. You're like, I'm not in my mind, but the self-awareness that isn't there in these people, that's what makes them do these crazy, like, outrageous things that get on the news. They get on the news things not to disappoint your family and friends and get yourself in some small trouble things, but the outrageous, like, this is on Drudge Report or Huffington Post, and this becomes, like, headline news for, like, what Leno used to do.
Right.
Yeah, his monologue about things that were happening in the world and stuff. And
right. I mean, I think we're kind of unsung heroes in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because we bring a dynamic to the masses that, number one, isn't always recognized. When people watch the news or they read the headlines that's going on, 90% of the stuff is depressing.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It brings you down. And we have a way of...
It brings us up.
Yeah, we have a way of... Yeah, we're poking fun at it. We're not making light of it because it's a, it's a terrible situation. Like, for instance, I have a joke about cyberbullying.
Yeah.
And how ridiculous I think it is that kids are killing themselves over cyberbullying. Because I remember a time where you had to deal with actual bullies.
Like, you had to learn how to fight.
Yeah, bullies are lazy now. Like, they can assault you across the way now. Like, you don't have to get beat up now.
Yeah, you bitch.
LOL. It's like, it doesn't even, it's not that serious, for kids to go jump off a bridge because, people are writing stuff about them. In order to get cyberbullying, you have to be on the internet. So I'm like, who is these kids that's getting harassed?
Get off the internet, right?
I mean, is that so much of a mind-blowing idea?
Pull the plug, take karate, or, you know what, parents need to do a better job of being like, whatever you're feeling right now is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And like, these people are not gonna matter. Like, you're in middle school and high school, that shit is 6 years out of an entire span of your life. You should learn to have it roll off your shoulder and be like, I'm out of this bitch.
Right, but...
that's our most vulnerable time.
It's like, and I'll, whoever, listeners don't think I'm a heartless person by saying this, but I saw like an ad where they had a fund where they were collecting money to help stop cyberbullying.
Which is impossible.
And I'm like, well, what are you supposed to do? Like, where's the money going to help stop, is the money to pay off the bullies, Like, what is this fun for?
It's going to MySpace to relaunch as a safe zone.
If you want to teach kids how to deal with bullying, and I'm not promoting violence, teach them how to throw a jab, okay?
Yeah.
Teach them how to throw a right cross.
Yeah.
That's going to help them. Sending $2.99 to whatever shitty charity that you think is going to make. No, that's not going to help,
Wordshurt.com or something. No shit, they hurt, but get off the internet.
You got a bunch of kids looking sad and some Sarah McLachlan playing in the background. That's not going to help these kids.
Not at all.
But my whole point in saying all that is to merely say that's the type of stuff that society, look at and think, this is a serious issue and we need to campaign to work. No, talk to your kids. Teach your kids how to defend themselves. Teach them better conflict resolution, skills. Don't just, it's mind-blowing to me when I think about it because maybe it's just me being old school, but being bullied was like a rites of passage.
Yeah, and then you had to bully someone else to know how bad it felt to be a bully, because that hurts too. Like, these bullies were hurting inside also, probably.
Right. I mean, most of them probably came from crappy homes where their parents was assholes to them, and so they just took it out on the littlest kid they could find. Now, that's a vicious cycle that just getting the short end of the stick, you know, it was a rites of passage for me. Now, of course, I didn't enjoy it at all.
No.
But, you know, after a while, when I got tired of getting beat up, I fought back. A lot of times I didn't win, but hey, I made my point that, hey, you're not just going to take my lunch money.
Yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit. You're going to have to earn this
Yeah,
lunch money.
I got long legs. I'm learning how to kick the balls. You can run.
Oh, yeah, that was my thing. I got in a fight once, and I actually was like, I tried to use a catchphrase. I was like ballroom dancing, and I whacked the guy in the dick.
See, that's what you don't do. You don't announce it.
No.
Because somebody here, ballroom dance, like, oh, no.
Yeah, he covered up. He
You
covered
know,
up, and they punched him in the face.
You know, it's more like, hey, look over there. Bow.
Didn't work.
I'm out of
The
there.
other time, my dad told me, like, look, next time you get picked on, you got to hit this kid.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I interpreted this as like, why don't you go ask him to play? So I go ring his doorbell. I was like, hey, is Michael there? And he comes to the door, and then I hit him. But I hit him in the stomach. Like I didn't wait till the next, encounter. I tried to just
But he
initiate.
didn't bother you anymore, did he?
No, we were always. I lived in between two sociopaths, so we were always. It was always like 2 against 1, one way or the other. And like I hit him in the stomach, and it just like he absorbed it and just bounced back, and I just stare at him wide-eyed, like, oh fuck. And he just pushed me in the bushes, and he closed the door. And like
I don't feel like playing today.
yeah, I misinterpreted my dad's advice.
Batman's on.
Yeah, instead of like wait to the next time he picks on you, it was more like I put a hit on him. A botched hit.
Yeah, it's funny because I came up in an old school kind of setting, and my older brother was kind of the enforcer, and he would tell me, it felt like we was plotting to kill a kid. He was like, here's what you do.
Yeah.
When you see him walking down the hall, you wait till you get away from his friends, and you catch him by himself, and you whoop his ass. You whoop his ass good.
Yeah.
It was like,
Make him bleed.
it was like, oh my God. And I'm like 6, I'm like, okay, let me get this down. So, times change. I get that. We're in a different time, different society, but to go back to, how we got here, that's the type of stuff that, we bring, as comedians, is to get you to look at the absurdity of the things that haunts us, the things that we fear, and the things that we feel like we have no control of.
Right.
And so, honestly, I think comedians should get paid what lawyers get paid. That's just my personal opinion. Only because,
It's hard as fuck. Like I haven't tried stand-up because I would argue it's the hardest art form.
Definitely. It's no walk in the park. You take so much of heat if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I
paid $5 and I expect to be entertained.
Hey, I try this. I've done free shows and people complain about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you didn't pay nothing. Yeah, I know, but I wasted my time.
My time is precious. Like, yeah, mine is too, you fucking asshole.
You're just gonna go home, watch Walker, Texas Ranger, jerk off and go to sleep.
Cyberbully some 12-year-old.
Right,
When the high from orgasm isn't enough for them. I'm not satisfied. Great episode, but I'm not satisfied.
Koreans.
Yeah, I got on a Korean site and made fun of them.
Yeah, and that's how you get your jollies off.
Yeah.
But, you got people like that, man. And, we just try to really, we just try to get people to look at things, Then you got people who do comedy for different reasons, whether it's to fit in.
Yeah.
Or to deal with their own social anxiety, which a lot of comics have. Like, they're awesome on stage. They can, they're flawless, but coming off the stage, they're virtual mutes. It's weird like that. But
they're like the person in the corner that's coming up with dark things to say. That's how it was.
A lot of well-known comics are like that.
Yeah.
There was a guy named Mitch Hedgeberg who.
Oh yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, great comic, awesome, but had the worst stage fright ever. He used to wear shades when he was on on stage.
Yeah, he had those like Roy Orbison shades on.
Yeah, he used to wear, kind of color shades, and he used to have terrible stage fright. And a lot of people, didn't know it, but, in some interviews, he was just like, dude, I'd be completely nervous, on these shows. But, and watching him, you'd be like, this dude is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
You would never know these things, But those are the type of things that, guys go through, and they manage to overcome that. And that's one of the risks that we take, that having stage fright, like, it's a serious thing. It can break you down because you're so in your head about it. You're like, well, I'm just absolutely terrified to go in front of these people and to talk to them, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And hope it works out.
Yeah.
But the payoff is always great when you got people that's laughing and you get applause and folks come up to you after the show like, yo, you were awesome. You was hilarious. And it's a drug. Once you get that great show, you want it all the time.
Absolutely.
It's a very euphoric feeling. You want it all the time, and you can't let it go,
Better than sex?
Listen, I've had some shows where I was like, this is awesome. I've slept with some women where I was like, I could have really not had this happen.
Yeah, like what? Yeah. This did not fill the hole.
Like, I could have just watched Lost and got...
Right, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm more invested in the relationships of fictional characters and their sex lives, because...
Right, I totally want to know who's going to nail Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, exactly. I just looked up something that apparently Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory is getting divorced.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, is she going to get back with Johnny Galecki? I'm like, why don't I focus on getting a job?
Right.
Things like that. But you're just drawn to it because, like, I'm rooting. Some people are like, I hope they get divorced or something. I'm like rooting for these people because it's hard for like creative people, especially on that level, to find like their soulmate because, I mean, they're not going to be able to relate to regular folk as much or vice versa.
It's kind of weird, and I think this is kind of the thing with folks in Hollywood on why so many Hollywood people get married and divorced so frequently. It's because when you're in front of the camera, you're on the road, you're on location, you're away from people. You're away from regular people. So the only people that you can kind of relate to is people that's in the business, people that pretty much living the same life you live in. But the trouble with that is that they're always gone. Like you have a fling for a minute, and you're dumb enough to think that it's going to work.
Yeah, this is going to be for my forever love.
Yeah, no.
Until they hook up with their next co-star.
There is no forever for famous people. Your best luck is to find someone normal. And it's still kind of a dangerous thing because people who are not famous or not in an entertainment lifestyle don't understand that you're out all the time. You're traveling, you're performing all the time, you're gone, you're away.
Yeah.
So that's always a problem. I've had issue with my significant other because she doesn't, well, she gets it now.
Yeah.
But it takes a strong person to, number one, understand it. Number two, to be able to accept it.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of artists are usually lonely people.
Check.
Yeah. They're usually lonely people, especially comics. We're usually lonely people, because we travel. We have a distorted outlook on the world.
And there's fear, especially if you're starting out.
Yeah, so, it takes a strong person to say, I'll be here when you get back.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to be gone, and I trust you. It takes a really strong person to do that. And so, that's why you have people who basically hook up in the business. Yeah. Like when you hear, okay, this movie star hooked up with this movie star.
You're like, of course.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why any movie stars get married. You know, unless you're marrying someone that you was married to before you got famous.
Right.
I have no idea on how you can be worth, $40 million and you're married to another person that's married to 20 million. Yeah, it sounds like you're going to be a power couple, but it's crazy. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me.
Because they're making out other people for a living and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, that's an intense experience. Like, over and over and over again. The insecurity that comes with that and needing to stay on top.
Right.
But, I mean, they have things in common. They both have their careers, but I feel like it'd be easier to walk away if you had a regular person, like a real person, to be able to walk back to.
Well, then also, to that, having a regular person will keep you more grounded than somebody that's always on the move.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a catch-22. You get there's pros and cons to it. Granted, this famous person that's on the road, they can relate and they understand. But then you have this civilian who doesn't quite get it, but they accept you for you and understand that who you truly are. And, when you're done traveling, you just want to be left alone. You just want to be around people that get you. Instead of all of these fake people that's just feeding you false information.
Yeah, entourage or whatever.
Yeah,
you need your real people that will call you out on your shit.
A bunch of yes people.
And do you ever feel the need to, get the validation from your partner before you even go, try material? Like, do you feel, is it hard to suppress that idea? Like, honey, what do you think of this dick joke?
She doesn't care.
That's great.
She doesn't care. Like, well, first of all, we've been together long enough where she understands that that's my lane.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any input, but every now and then she'll get the bug and she'll say something where she's like, oh, that's funny. But she doesn't try it. She'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff that she says, I'm like, babe, that's funny. That's funny. So that helps solidify the little comedian in her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes her feel good, But she understands that that's my lane. That's daddy's lane. I'm gonna let him handle that, I'm just here for support.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Awesome. You got a show tonight, right?
Yeah, actually, gotta get ready for a show here at the Arlington Draft House. Just dropping it. I did a show here on Thursday, which was awesome with Cool Cow Comedy. Shout out to them. Went really well. Really well. Nice crowd. Everybody was there, ready to go. And tonight, I'm back here just to drop in, do a quick guest spot. And, just have fun, man.
Yeah, good luck with that guest spot tonight. Hey, when's this DVD coming out?
Very soon.
Nice.
Very soon. It should be out, we're going to say, towards the end of September.
Awesome. End of September? All right, well, I'll try to get these random listeners in Pyongyang, North Korea.
Yes.
I checked the statistics on the podcast, the listeners, and I have a friend that's in Korea right now, but there's some other random things, so I'll hit it up. All the North Koreans and Lithuanians there might be bots that are listening to this. Hey, bots are people too, and bots buy DVDs, but I'll let everyone know that Black Mayonnaise is on its way, and it's not porn, and it's funny shit.
You can get all the information you want on www.gregstevenscomedy.com.
And you know it's legit because we met on Craigslist in 2005.
Right.
What's that website again?
Yeah. www.gregstevenscomedy.com.
Awesome, man.
Word. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me tonight.
No problem.
This is a really nice car, by the way.
Thank you.
Buicks are fucking great.
I know. I love them.
Shout out to Buick. All right.
Maybe we can get some free gas cars or something for promoting it.
Yeah, Tiger Woods isn't their spokesman anymore because he fucked all of his waitresses and shit.
I know.
So you can get anyone in the world and you're gonna fuck an IHOP waitress.
That's a whole nother story. Next episode,
all about Tiger Woods fucking IHOP waitresses.
Yeah.
So. Good night, America and Pyongyang and Lithuania.
Hey, peace out, man.
All right.